Hello, welcome YouTubers. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Today, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my vinyl collection, how I put it together, and hopefully I'm going to give you some good points so you can build yours and have a quality collection that you're proud of and that you didn't go broke putting together. So stay tuned. So let's get started. You are interested in spinning vinyl and you're just getting started and you don't have anything. So your first step is to get yourself a turntable. Now, my recommendation to you is you start small. And if you already have a home stereo, just get yourself an entry-level turntable. For you that don't have a stereo, then you can also go out and buy like a USB turntable. You can go out and buy like a turntable that comes with speakers that are preamped, so you're ready to go out of the box, okay? And you could do that for like 150 bucks, maybe even cheaper. It just depends on what strikes you and what fits your space needs and what have you. So that's step number one, is get yourself a turntable, because you go nowhere without that. Step number two, buying those vinyls. So, you know what, it can get pricey, right? So, you'll probably pursue this, buying new, buying used. But for me, I've always just tried to be true to myself. Buy what I like. I don't try to buy stuff that I think is cool or what somebody else might think is cool. I am just 100% good to myself when I buy myself a record. So to start, you want to start out by buying like records that is a good album, that is just loaded with good music. And it's not that artist that has maybe one or two good songs. We'll get to them in a minute. But, like, for example, Michael Jackson, Thriller. Great album. Sold 50-something million copies. You can get it pretty reasonable. A lot of people think they're priceless, but they're not. There's 50-something million of them out there. Okay? The Queen is Dead. The Smiths. Disintegration, The Cure. And then these are just my picks. You may have different ones. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Oh man, that's a good one. We got Adele. That's another good one. Nirvana. Zeppelin 4. The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's, Amy Winehouse, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Those are some great albums to start with, and you will listen to them front to back. And so, like I said, those are the types of albums you want to start out with. It'll definitely enhance your record listening experience. That's what I suggest. Now, there's artists out there that don't have albums like that. They might have just like 10 albums out there that have a few good hits on them, right? So for those, I recommend you buying a best of collection, a greatest hits collection. And here's some examples of that. Cars, 2-album set, all their greatest hits. Lionel Richie, front to back, 1 album, tons of great music. You don't have to buy, 5-10 albums. Sade, The Doors. So those are some ideas, for getting long play records. Then there's the artist that really just only had one great hit, right? Or maybe 2. So for me, I like to buy the 12-inch singles. Okay, you got a Bismarcky here. You Got What I Need. It's kind of a hard one to find though, but it's a 12-inch single. You put it on, you'll get whatever, 10-15 minutes aside out of it in most cases. Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. Again, long play. You put the record on. You don't put an album on and then you're running away for 5 minutes, and then you're running back to change the record because the song you like is over. Okay, so here's one, Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby, man. We all like this one. Don't lie, you know you did. But again, I like Vanilla Ice. He's going to do some movies and some funny stuff with Adam Sandler, but I'm not going to buy his whole album. So there you have it. And you know what? When you're buying records, just be selective. And like I said, don't go out there and just try to amass a big collection, because you're just going to have a bunch of stuff you do not like. Be selective, be true to yourself, and you'll put a nice quality record collection together that you and those around you will enjoy. Step number 3. This could be step number 2 just as easily, but where to buy your vinyl, okay? You can buy them brand new. You know, you can go, Target, Walmart, even Kohl's sell records nowadays. Barnes and Noble sell records nowadays. You can go online. Amazon, you can get some pretty good deals on Amazon. eBay, you can buy them at Discogs. So there's a lot of good places to buy out there. You can buy them at flea markets. I get a lot of records at flea markets and thrift stores. So those flea markets and thrift stores are my favorite because, man, you can find some gems there. And, you know, I've walked into a thrift store and bought a stack of 30 for 99 cents a piece. And I got my whole Police album collection with Sting records, and they were 99 cents a piece. And so you just have to be patient with those things. Yard sales, places like that. Now, when you're buying used records, you know, sometimes you'll buy from places that have a grade. For me, depending on how rare the record is, I have to, and I have a non-negotiable. Nothing below very good goes into my collection. And if it's even as low as a very good, it just has to be because it's an older album and it's hard to get for, and I kind of settle. Usually I'm always like that very good plus guy to mint minus or mint on the used albums. Okay, so when you're buying a record, you want to make sure that the edges and the corners are in good shape. They haven't been dropped on the corner, and they're not kinked, or they're not fringed, or, you know, torn, or separating. So you basically want a good quality album cover, because that's a big part of collecting. I mean, you know, this is art. You're paying for the art too, right? So you wouldn't go to the store and you wouldn't buy a picture with a big scuff, or you know, the frame was cracked on the side, right? Same thing with your album covers. The next thing is the album itself. Now, when you handle an album, you know, you can do it like this, you do it like this. But when you're checking for condition, you can kind of look at it, make sure you got some good light, so you can, you know, really inspect the album. And then what I like to do is I'll hold it up like this, and especially to the people that are selling records out in the sun, that's how you tell if you got a worked record. You can look and you can see, you eye it out, you'll see that it's a nice flat album, and there you go. And if not, you know, sometimes you look, you're like, wow, this seems like a potato chip. And and you know, for you, there's more experienced guys that will buy them because they know how to straighten them out. But for the newbie, you don't want to deal with that. To be honest, I'm not a newbie and I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather just buy a nice quality album that somebody's selling used, that they've taken care of. It's a practice I put on anything I buy. I always just make sure I buy stuff that's used, that somebody has taken very well care of, and I'll pay for it. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the places you can buy your albums. And then when you're buying used, sometimes you can negotiate. If you're going to buy a few, you'll get a better deal. As you get to know a little bit more, you might be able to point out a little something you don't like, hey, this is missing the insert. Can you cut it a few bucks? You'll find that there's a lot of people willing to do that. You'll also find people that think their collections are priceless. When you see those people, just move along. Unless you want to look through and see if you can find something ultra rare, but chances are if they do have it, they want full value for it, and you're free to do that if you're that serious collector. But we're talking to the new vinyl collector here today. So anyhow, there you have it, places and how you go about buying your vinyl. Step number 4, taking care of your records. You've done all this work, you did the research, you watched my video, you go out there and you buy yourself some records, and now you need to take care of them. So the first step for me would be a place to put your records where they're protected and away from potential harm. First thing is to keep them obviously out of direct sunlight, because you could end up with warped records or faded covers, so you don't want that. None of us want that. And so put them in a crate out of the sun, and you're good. Or you buy yourself a nice shelf depending upon your budget. Okay, the next thing is they sell these cleaning kits on Amazon that come with a brush for your records, a brush that actually helps you clean your brush, and then you can also use it lightly to clean off your needle or your stylish, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a little bit of, that comes with a little cleaner here that you just spray on there, and you basically just put it on there, and then has an arrow that tells you which way it should be pointing, and you just let your record, you just gently put it on there, let your record spin around a couple times, and you're good. You have a clean record. You're going to get great sound quality, and when you finish playing it, you got a nice, fresh, clean record to store back in the sleeve. Okay, and it also comes with a nice little bag, so you can just set it right behind, right next to your turntable. It's there when you need it. Okay. The next thing is, we talked about these nice, getting yourself a nice quality cover that doesn't have any damage or cuts or kinks in it. I refer to it as a picture. A picture has a piece of glass over it, right? And so your album cover should have something similar, and they sell these plastic sleeves. And so every one of my albums have it. These things cost about 20 cents a piece or a quarter a piece, something like that. Very small investment to cover, your whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 album. And so every single one of my records has one of these. I always have them on hand, and every one of my records gets one. Now, when you're buying used records, sometimes they don't come with the inner sleeve, right? And so sometimes you can find a good record, it doesn't have the inner sleeve, and you're like, oh, that, the inner sleeve cover is not that important, so you buy it. But you want to protect that record against that cardboard, right? So you can also buy these inner sleeves, okay? Again, they just cost a few cents a piece, and you can buy them on Amazon. And you can buy a pack that has both. You can buy 12 of each, and I think they're like 18 bucks. So you get the whole pack. It has the paper and then the plastic tube. So great investments, and that will help you to take care of your record collection that you've worked so hard to come up with, and that you just enjoy listening to. Okay, so there you have it. There's 4 things, and I'm going to throw in a bonus for you, and that is, when you're buying your records, use Apple Play to help you in that journey. And here's what I mean by using Apple Play. Say you're at a record store, you come across this artist, you look at the record, you're like, oh, hey, there's a few good songs on here. I don't know if I want to pop for this whole album. I don't know that I'm going to like the whole thing. Pull out your Apple Play. You can sample the whole album right there, and let that help you make a choice. For me, it helps me to be patient too, because if I can't find an album and I'm not finding it for the price that I want, especially on some of these older ones, you can always just listen to that entire album on Apple. And I have a Bluetooth set up to my stereo, so I just stream it right through. So anyhow, that's your bonus tip. Thank you so much for listening. please, or watching, please like and subscribe. I totally appreciate that. Drop any comments you might have as far as your record collection or tips that I may have missed. That would be helpful to the record collecting community, and I would so much appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a great day.